Halloween
Forever.
Welcome to another Minisode of Halloween is Forever. That's where you insert the sound of one Mr. David Caruso taking off his sunglasses. Welcome, boys and ghouls, to another fucking Minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I feel like you should have had a pun ready, sir.
Well, I had a plan ready, and then you said, no, put it down. I'll put it in post.
Yeah, I'll put the sound effect in post, but that doesn't mean you can't do a pun leading up to me doing the sound
Is this
effect.
Steve suggesting that he misses my puns? Because
This is-
normally...
This is a producer producing.
He talks
There's-
about how fucking terrible they are.
That's Steve the host.
Oh.
Steve the producer
Yeah, I see. I
says
see.
give the audience what they want,
He put-
which is bad puns.
Oh, see? And he admitted that they are lovely.
Is this Brian blaming Steve for being inadequate today?
I am wholly inadequate today. I literally got back from vacation late last night. I can't stop yawning. Didn't drink anything yesterday. I somehow still feel hungover. So that's where I'm at in my life right now. But
But you got
guys,
slick back hair right now, so
yeah, I just
You
got
know?
out of the shower. I'm sweating real fucking bad. I got sweet slick back hair. But you guys can't see on account of how this is just audio. We got a fourth human sitting at the table right now. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, world. My name is Brian as well. Brian, too.
We have another Brian, you
is he
guys.
your junior? Is that what we're calling it?
I can be a junior for tonight. I might be older than you. It doesn't matter. Who knows?
Junior, that is an album name or a porn title. A junior for the night.
Oh,
Just for one night.
Ooh.
Just for one night. Just for one night. Guys, you know what kids
Brian, were
love
you ready
on
for this?
Pornhub nowadays?
Junior, were you ready for
You know what I
this?
heard the kids love on Pornhub?
Stepsister stuff?
Incest.
It's crazy.
Kids love incest. Guys, I'm just saying it. Like, I always see those articles that are like, and this is a hell of a tangent early in the episode, but you see those articles like the most searched, phrases on Pornhub.
Yeah.
9 out of the top 10 are always incest related.
Yeah. Is
that on
It's
BuzzFeed?
real weird. I don't know. Whatever like the like pervert version of BuzzFeed is, I think, is what I read that on.
Vulture.
Yeah. But it's always all straight up incest.
Yeah.
That's what the kids love nowadays.
That's what they're into.
They love their designer drugs.
I'm just taking a step back from this conversation,
Yeah.
so proceed.
Drop
Keep
some
going.
Well,
Stop.
Drop
Just-
some Molly, snort some Xanny, find your stepsister stuck in a washing machine.
Yeah, I love how it's always like in the videos too, because I'm gonna watch them. They're like they always say stepsister in the title, but they never mention stepsister in the
Right.
actual video. They're really heavily trying to suggest that it's blood relative. I'm just saying.
I usually fast forward through that plot point. I'm not looking like
I fast forward as soon as the sex starts.
I
I just
feel-
want to hear about. I just want to hear how she got stuck under that table.
Brian just likes family drama. He doesn't. He
I canceled my cable. I can't watch Different Strokes
got some
reruns
weird
anymore.
kinks going on over
I
here.
So
just have
now
to
you're into different strokes.
Explain to
I saw-
before we get too far into incest.
Well, I have something to contribute to
Okay,
this
okay.
productive conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had recently saw somebody post something online about it should be time to bring back kink shaming because all they see on Pornhub is clown stuff and pee stuff. So I think we're letting it go too far.
You know what? Of those top 10, it's like number 1 through 6 were all, incest. Then like number 8, 9, and 10 were incest. But you know what number 7 was?
Clussy?
I don't know what that is.
Clown
I-
pussy.
I was just gonna say people pissing on clowns. Just clown pissing.
Yeah.
Piss clowns.
It's clowns.
Pissclowns.org.
It's clowns from outer space.
Oh man.
It's like those circus games where you have to do the water race.
Yeah.
But,
But it's real clowns now.
But it's real clown's
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
One time I was playing that game, Two Truths and a Lie thing.
bet you were.
But the right thing was The correct answer should have been, sounds about right. But anyway, I was playing the Two Truths and a Lie thing. And one of the things that I like to say is that I have a fleshlight that's shaped like a clown's mouth.
And then what's the lie?
Well, yeah, that's just one of the facts about me that I like to throw out there.
Is it just like a fleshlight with clown paint on it?
It looks like a vagina.
Yeah.
No, for me, it's actually a clown's lips and nose. But it's just,
Can you squeeze it? Is it some honk?
Every time you thrust, honk, honk. Instead of look, it goes honk, honk. Oh, guys, we should cancel ourselves and never do this podcast again. All right, introduce yourself, Brian. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Brian Sikes Howe. I'm a podcaster and musician and artsy fartsy ding dong from Pittsburgh, PA.
Yeah, and horror movie aficionado.
I like horror movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say aficionado. It's too many syllables.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But
of
I just say it. I don't want to say it again.
Yeah. Is it? Would
too
you
Italian.
go as far as to say it's your favorite genre of film?
I would say it's up there
Yeah.
next to clown piss.
Clown piss, incest, then horror.
Not incest, no.
No. Well, what if the clown's related to you? Like if it's your
I
uncle
mean,
or
you know,
something.
things get tricky. It's fine.
I'm not going to turn it off.
No, I do enjoy horror movies quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. What if we had to pick, like, what area of the cosmos do you like to live in horror wise? Do you like slasher movies? Do you like
Sci-fi horror is probably my top.
Yeah.
But I also like the funny stuff. I like all of it. The psychological stuff.
Oh, speaking of psychology.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good segue into
Yeah.
the thing.
We are gonna talk about a goddamn. I mean, this movie's psychological or no motherfucker. I would say this movie we're about to talk about tonight, which is 2001. 2001?
Yep.
Session 9, which was a listener request, I believe. Is that correct?
It was.
Steve? Who requested it?
It was from our listener, Adrian.
Adrian.
And she used to work at Burgers Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, she came up to me at the live show and said, "You guys should do Session 9." I was like, "I vaguely remember that movie.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the list."
Yes. So here we are at Adrian's request. We are doing Session 9 from 2001. It is very much a psychological horror / vaguely like faux supernatural, kind of. And also, what was the other kind of?
Like
It's
a
a mystery. Yeah, I was
mystery.
going to say like not a who done it necessarily,
It's
but a
close to
mystery.
a whodunit.
Yeah. So it's a genre bender, if you will. Directed by one Mr. Brad Anderson. I was looking through one Mr. Brad Anderson's filmography, and boy, I don't know anything this guy did. Do you know any of these movies?
Not necessarily his movies,
Fractured, Beirut, Vanishing on 7th Street. I don't know any of these damn movies.
Yeah, I don't know his movies, but like I know his TV, obviously, like Fringe.
Yes.
Yeah, big Fringe fan.
Yeah,
was
and
great.
he directed a couple episodes of The Wire, an episode of The Shield. He was in Masters of Horror, which I remember seeing him in Masters of Horror, and it just said like Session 9 director. I remember, so it's like I think that's his horror claim to fame. A few episodes of Boardwalk Empire, The Killing, tons of not necessarily genre TV, but some of them are.
Yeah.
But he's definitely known much more for his TV.
Yeah, he's definitely much more of a genre director. Like he never broke out and started doing like big blockbusters or anything. But yeah, there's like you said, The Wire and Fringe, and I think he started with Homicide: Life on the Street is one of his really early ones.
Yeah.
So like he does a lot of those detective shows, but
Sure.
then like I think his films are much more skewed horror and psychological and shit like that.
Yeah. Yep. So we gonna talk about that goddamn movie here today, but we got a couple other things that we got to talk about. First, let's talk about some beers that we might be drinking now. What do you got? What do you got, Steve? I know what you got, and I'm mad about it. But you just got absolute horse shit.
I have from the Left Hand Brewing Company They stopped doing they didn't stop doing their nitro stouts, but they expanded out from their nitro stouts, and they have a whole bunch of other goof ass stuff. And now
this isn't your first goof ass left hand nitro beer.
It isn't.
That you've brought here.
Yeah, no, it isn't. But this is the key lime pie.
There's a section at the Giant Eagle by your house that's just goof ass shit.
Yeah.
And it's just you standing in front of it.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
I've cultivated a nice relationship with the person who runs that department.
Yeah.
He stocks it. It's almost like GameStop, where they had like the recommendations of the employees.
Yeah.
Goof stop.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they have Goof Stop for me.
Yeah.
At the get go, and it says Steve's goof ass.
Yeah. Power to the
selections.
goofer.
Goof ass bullshit for Steve.
Yeah, goof ass bullshit recommended by Steve. But this is their key lime pie nitro, and it's a sour ale with lactose, lime, vanilla, and cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually way more tame than because it's on nitro and everything.
Yeah, nitro just kind of mellows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not overly sour. It's not
Not the
overly
color I
anything.
expected for it to come out as.
Do you expect it to be green?
I expected it to just be like pale.
Mud.
I guess it's a little bit more ambery color than I expected, maybe. But
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it's fine. Like
Any glip glop in it?
No
Like
glue
it?
glop.
it looks pretty clear.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about Left Hand. They're going to do dumbass shit, but they don't gloop glop it,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, it's not glue glop in there, and it's like
These are technical terms.
Yeah.
but is it?
everybody knows what a glue glop is.
Yeah, everybody
We're all
knows what goddamn
professionals.
gloop glop beers
Does
are.
it have the key lime flavor, or is it more just leaning lime?
It's more leaning lime with a little bit of sweetness.
Okay.
Like I'm not getting
Yeah.
a lot of the graham cracker that you'd expect.
Yeah.
And it says there's cinnamon in there, but I doubt that.
Because
Yeah.
if it's like leaning lime, that color doesn't surprise me. If they just kind of took a generic recipe and just zhuzhed it.
Right.
up a
Well, I feel
little
like
bit.
at that point they're probably also using flavorings.
Yeah.
Like natural
Oh, yeah.
flavorings and stuff like that.
Really?
Especially to make it.
No way.
Actually, shop.
No.
Well, 'cause it's funny because once upon a time you're like, well, how are we gonna get that? Like when Pumpkin was huge or whatever. How are we gonna get this flavor into this beer? We got to work around it with the grain bill. We're gonna add some essences, some like extract flavorings and stuff like that. Now brewers just like fart a whole pie into the fucking mash tun, and they're like, oh, it's a pie beer, and it literally is a pie beer.
Yeah.
So like once upon a time, I remember when people like the first time I heard of somebody making a bacon beer, I was like,
Oh God.
how did you clean that? You know what I mean? Like that's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And now that's like tame compared to I think what a lot of people do. But
Speaking of pumpkin, I still get like triggered mildly by like just the smell of like filtering that beer and adding that flavoring. Oh my God.
fast forward
It's
2
so-
weeks from now, and we'd probably drinking the fuck out of it.
Well, I did bring that shot that Steve should do.
You did.
I'm not gonna do it now.
I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
it now.
I'm not gonna do it.
I didn't
I'm not
plan
gonna
on
do it.
that. I haven't eaten today, Meg, and I gotta drive home. Doing shots of pumpkin.
Coward.
Coward.
It's July, Meg. I'm not doing shots of pumpkin.
If you don't drink and drive, you're a coward. That's what I always say. As a beer
It's on his
professional.
t-shirt. It's like fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's in Meg's rule book.
Yeah. If you don't drink and drive, you're a coward. Meg, what do you got?
So I'm trying to clean out my closet here a little bit and brought over Anchorage Brewing Incantation. It's a sour ale with passion fruit, guava, and apricots. It's actually really nice. I like when these breweries are doing like more balanced stuff, and it's like the passion fruit's super prominent. I really like it.
It's no different than what I bought. It's just mine's on nitro.
I mean, that's like a
we need to
spontaneously
respond to this?
fermented beer.
No, it's the same. Same quality and everything.
I like yours was a 16-ounce can for $2.99 at Giant Eagle. But I probably would. Well, I do like. If I'm gonna go gloop glop, which very rarely is the case, it's got to be like a Brett beer. It's got to be something funky and sour. Like that's more my.
Was
my
that
cup of
aged
tea.
in a foeder? That's
maybe.
my question. Aged 22 months in French oak Chardonnay barrels with Brett?
It's
pronounced was it?
fooder, Meg.
No, it was aged in that can for 2 years at Giant Eagle.
Vintage Estates Brian.
Oh, is it, okay, so 3 years. That place, I love that place. It's a great spot. I fucking grew up drinking at fucking Vintage Estates, but boy, they got a lot of old beer over there.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's a graveyard for old beer. Well, oh yes. I was gonna say you're drinking a
Oh,
Pilsner,
yeah, no, we
but
got a
that's, you got
sidecar
a little
beer here,
backup
too. Yeah, I
yeah.
stole one of your Von Trapps that I'm still just so enamored by the fact that they're very much so leaning into the Sound of Music thing because it says by the family that inspired the Sound of Music. Like, so, like, I want to meet that family.
Yeah, weren't they like Nazis?
Or like sympathizers or something.
Yeah.
They escaped by like not being Jewish or something. I don't know.
They escaped by like telling them where all the Jews were.
Yeah, it's something problematic that we obviously don't know very well.
I was gonna say, I listen. I love Von Trapp Brewing.
You're starting rumors right now.
Oh yeah, United States beer is old. Von Trapp's Nazis are just. This is a shit talk episode. We're just throwing people under the bus. No, I love that beer, or I love Von Trapp in general. I actually have one of the Dunkels in there too. I'll probably get after this. Brian, what do you got? What are you drinking?
I'm just drinking a New Glarus Spotted Cow.
Just a good old spotty cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good old normal beer for normal people.
Just a regular ass
a good old
beer.
Midwest staple.
Good, a beer flavored beer. I too am going beer flavored beer. Leave it to the children to drink their goddamn sloppy gloop glop.
I think this is called
Can I make a
jealousy.
comment about the left hand thing?
Mm-hmm.
I know this isn't a visual podcast, but I think really what makes that beer seem so annoying to me is the can design. It is like awful.
Yeah.
It just looks terrible.
Ryan's are really
It looks
offended
like
by
a
everything you're
sign.
drinking.
It looks like a sign that your aunt would put up at like her beach condo.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Go.
That says like
That's like an Ocean City timeshare advertisement.
yeah.
Around here, we eat pie.
Well, it's so funny because like the color of the beer looks great, and I guarantee you, if that beer was in something that looked like that Anchorage bottle, I'd probably be more willing to try it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Oh but I mean that's just Anchorage. Like again, the beers are the same, but Anchorage just spent the money to hire an artist.
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's no
This
difference
should say,
between
I
son
really
of
do
a- son
not
of
want
a
to be
beach.
like categorized here with you, Steve. Like we are different people.
If that
different
font,
beers.
if that font said "Bless this mess," I wouldn't be surprising at all.
That'd be a better name for that beer
Yeah.
than just key lime pie.
Live, laugh, love, and then
Yeah.
parentheses the beach.
Anybody have like an extra $1.5 million so I can start a brewery and then make that beer with that can?
But that's the only one you make.
Live, laugh,
Yeah,
love.
that's the only one I make
Yeah.
is Bless This Mess. And it's just whatever I have on hand from Amaretti.
Yeah.
It'll be real popular. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there'll be people lining up for it.
Yeah.
Garbage people. I am also drinking a good old fashioned beer flavored beer, not from the Midwest though, but from Germany. This is Hofbrauhaus, but not Hofbrauhaus, the one from Munich. This is Hofbrauhaus Friesing. This is their Jager beer, which is their not Jammer Jagger themed. I wish it was. Export lager. This is their Dortmunder. So this is like their export strength Helles lager beer from the other Hofbrauhaus, which is up in Friesing, which is not nearly as famous. But one of my distributors down in Maryland distribute this beer, and it's fucking great. But I don't even know if they distribute in Pennsylvania. But I grabbed it when I was down in the greater Baltimore area. It's just a good old-fashioned damn German lager beer. And you guys should feel ashamed of yourself.
I don't.
No, I know you don't.
I know what you're gonna want.
Hofbrauhaus Pittsburgh is racist, so I don't.
Well, it's not that. That's why I was very clear to say it's not that Hofbrauhaus.
Right.
It's a completely different company, completely different family.
I feel like this beer
But
should
this is
be
definitely
like,
some European
distributed
old
here.
money, fuck you pajama money type of people, I'm sure. What's that?
I feel like this beer should be distributed in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
With
I
it
know.
being like Jager beer.
Well, yeah, it's spelled literally like Jammer Jagger himself.
Mm-hmm.
Jammer Jagger and his Jammer Slammer. All right.
Speaking of mullets.
Speaking of sick ass mullets. All right, so we've got through the beers, but we have another order of business to take care of here, which is we got to announce what our showdown topic is for August. And for those of you who are new to the show, if you want to help us pick our showdown topics, what the fuck is a showdown, you say? Here's what it is. Listen up. Get your fucking thumb out of your mouth, babies. Listen, I'm going to explain to you what it is. Here's what it does. Once a month, we do an episode every single week, but once a month we do a showdown topic where you, our lovely listeners and social media friends, suggest topics to them. Steve puts them on a big old spinny-ass wheel. We spin them. We pick 3 of them. We put it on the social medias. And then you vote to decide which one we're going to pick, which topic we're going to pick. Then we each pick a movie that's associated with that topic. We argue about it. We fight. We powerbomb each other. We replace the table almost every week. Somebody gets jackknife powerbombed right through it. And then we decide whose movie reigns supreme and who is the champ. I regret to inform you that Steve is the current champ. Champ. Wait, is that like your Friday the 13th?
Yeah. Yeah. Lets you know I'm coming by.
I'm just sliding on by.
Yeah, just sliding on by.
So he won. What was the topic last month that you won with?
Remakes and reimagination.
Yeah, with Crimes of the Future, which was a fucking blast. I love that movie. Did you see Crimes of the Future?
I have not.
Oh, good God!
Check it
I
out.
literally just rewatched it last night.
Really
too, so,
fucking cool. Really
Yeah.
cool.
If you, I mean, you already said you love sci-fi, so
I do.
Yeah, Cronenberg and
nice.
this is the most Cronenberg movie I think I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
But it was sick. So the three, I'll remind you, and again, if you want to help us, follow us on the social medias. We usually put these up on Instagram, which is @HalloweenIsForever, and on Twitter, which is @HallowForever. But we also link them to the Facebook, which is Halloween is Forever podcast. TikTok's still around there. We still got a TikTok, right, Meg?
Yep.
All right.
Can confirm.
We for those of you who maybe new to the show, I run the Instagram. Steve runs the Twitter. Meg started a TikTok.
It's still super active. We got probably over 80 followers now.
Yeah,
You know,
we're
getting there.
What is it again? It's Halloween is Forever Pod, right?
Yeah.
On the Tiki Talkies. Or you can also just send us one of them old-fashioned emails, halloweenisforeverpod@gmail.com if that's something that you're more inclined to do. Anyway, it was on Instagram a runaway victory for one of the topics. I don't know if that was the case on Twitter as well.
yeah.
So to remind you, here were the topics that came up. Sports horror, in parentheses, is that a thing? Question mark, end parentheses. That was one of them. Non-traditional vampire flicks, or future directors / writers. So that would be like a very a big-time director or writer that got their start in genre films.
Yeah.
I can tell you on Instagram, the one that absolutely ran away with it was, not surprising, non-traditional vampires.
Yeah.
Same
Absolutely
thing on
smoked on Twitter.
Yeah, same.
Nice.
Same. Although, I'll tell you, pretty excited. Sports horror, which I thought was going to be a distant third, actually was second place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, close second
Yeah.
to the future directors, writers, but non-traditional vampires ran away with it. So we were talking about some potential, to give you an idea of what we're talking about, non-traditional vampires. You know, it could be your anything that is away from the kind of classic Gothic style Dracula, vampires flick. So obviously your John Carpenter's vampires, or your Near Darks of the world, or what were we talking about last time? My heart can't beat unless you tell it to.
Right.
That sort of stuff. Non-traditional vampires, which there's a lot to choose from, and I have not selected mine yet for that.
Girl
very
walks
reason.
home alone at night.
Yes, great example
Yeah.
of that.
Shut
that
up, Brian, too.
just that movie's fucking great.
We already know Steve Spike, apparently.
It was one of them.
But yes, there's a lot of cool ones that we're gonna talk about. I'm excited for that episode. That's what's gonna be our showdown episode for the month of August. And by the way, guys, the month of August is officially pre-Halloween season. And come at me, I'll fight you, because it starts August 1. August 1 is pre-Halloween. Then September's pre-Halloween. Then of course October is Halloween.
Right.
So we're getting hardcore into it. We're going to be doing a little bit more Halloween-centric content in the coming months as well.
Look, if it wasn't pre-Halloween,
Yeah.
then why are there Halloween decorations at the Big Lots and Halloween beers coming out now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's
You're
full
right.
on
I'm with you.
pre-Halloween.
Yeah.
People who are like, I don't start celebrating Halloween till October 20th or whatever. I'm like, fuck you.
Ew.
Why do you
I'm
hate
already
fun?
relishing in all the memes that I'm seeing. It's like where pumpkins are at the beach. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Fast forward
Get it.
20 minutes from now, and I'm going to be fucking smoking candy corn like crazy. Like I'm 100%. As soon as I see it in the store, I'm fucking there. And the goddamn
I just want to see some clear, like, blunt wraps with just candy corn in it. Like,
Yeah.
like
No,
literally.
I just literally melt it in a spoon, just fucking mainline it.
Can
I don't
you
even
do
give
candy
shit.
corn dabs?
Yeah.
Is that bad? Is that bad for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do them. The other the thing about the candy corn too is when it hits the shelves, that's the freshest it's gonna be. So fucking enjoy it. Same
Why
thing
is
with the
there
no-
Oktoberfest. Same thing with the pumpkin beers.
Speaking of that, like,
What?
there should be just a whole line of like weed products that are all named for Halloween.
Oh, I
Like,
bet there is.
Just imagine that. You'd smoke all of it.
I like weed. Yeah, I like weed. I like spooky shit. You sell me weed
Well-
and spooky shit together, I'm gonna 100% use it.
Okay. Well, here's kind of your mission, Brian.
Yeah.
Is you have to go down to the dispensary that was Mullins
Mhm.
on the north side,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
see what you can get, and
See
if
kinda
they don't
spooky-ass
have
weed.
anything spooky,
Yeah.
then you have to start pushing it.
Yeah.
Suggesting.
Like, hey, where's your spooky weed?
Yeah.
Like,
Where's your Reese's pumpkins with weed?
yeah, or was any of this weed like fertilized with human remains?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like do something spooky with this shit.
How many bones are in these? Like, you get them to sell a pack of bones, and it's
Yeah.
just joints, but it's got a skeleton on the
You put a
cover.
skeleton on literally anything, I'll pay twice as much. I'm fucking
The edibles are in shapes of little skeletons and pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a line here for this.
I'll eat 40 of them. And die. I don't even care if they're shaped like pumpkins. Why not? Listen, let's just cut out the middleman here. Let's just make fucking weed candy corn,
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
weed infused candy corn.
Yeah.
Get on it, internet, you bitches. Why doesn't that exist?
Brian, you get on it.
I'm sure it
Let's do
exists.
I don't know how.
Well, you get a candy corn recipe, and then you buy one of those. I think it's called
What do
a
you mean a
leaf.
candy corn recipe? It's like a giant. It's probably a machine the size of this room that makes candy corn.
I doubt. I mean,
You think, so? You think they're hand making that shit?
I bet you can like make it in a vat at home.
Have you
Need
ever
some
seen
grandma now, like
a
making little
vat?
pieces of kid.
First of all, who has a vat?
Any home brewer has a vat.
Oh, that's a kettle. Come on. I'm not putting
I
that shit
consider
in my
that a
kettle.
vat. Anything 5 gallons is up is a vat to me.
Has anybody done a candy corn beer?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very many candy corns. We actually...
I haven't seen it, surprisingly.
There was a candy... Actually, Bud Light Seltzer had a candy corn one last
Oh,
year.
is that
Remember
part of
Yeah.
that auto?
I
hack?
remember this now.
It
I
tasted
take
like a
a
fucking candle. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Did you try it?
No, I didn't. I remember
Ugh.
seeing it though.
There was like candy corn, but there was also like the only one that was tolerable was like the apple spice one. It was all right. The pumpkin spice one was disgusting. They had a pear spice one. Remember we tried it on the show?
Yeah.
Holy shit, was that bad?
Yeah.
And I love pears.
They
And-
sold it in like a pack,
Yeah,
didn't
it
they?
was
Right,
like a
yeah.
variety,
Yeah, you had to
seasonal
commit to a lot.
variety pack.
Yeah.
Like a 12 pack. It was a whole thing because Kate bought one and we tried I think all of them on the show. Didn't we?
We tried at least 3 of them, I think,
I-
because we
was
tried the
this
pear
had
one.
been one?
There was a s'more one in there too.
Yeah, there was a s'more one. That was,
That was
okay.
poop.
I
Well,
thought
you
that
guys
was.
thought it was all right. I was not.
I don't
You
think
didn't
I was
like
here
that
for this episode. Was this one of the ones I was off? I think it was one of the ones I was
No,
off.
you were here. I thought.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember trying this at all.
It's
Yeah.
it's natural to
Wasn't good.
suppress traumatic memories.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I brought.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
validation.
you
That's
might have.
exactly
Yeah.
what
You might
happened.
Because I also took them to a fantasy draft party for football, and I
Sounds
offloaded
appropriate.
off the garbage ones to them.
Oh
I
my
gave
God.
them all the pumpkin spice and the pears ones.
Here, drink these, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, I like the s'mores one, and the apple one was the only one that was like good.
Yeah, that was okay. That was okay.
Yeah.
Speak,
I like how
speak
you still had to put it in parentheses.
good.
Yeah.
I was like,
You meant
Good.
tolerable.
Well, yeah, because I mean, cider is still way better than
Yeah,
that.
that's the thing.
didn't-
Is it
yeah.
tasted like probably like fucking bush apple or whatever that shit is that you love.
you didn't try it, so don't fucking come at me right now.
bush apple
I'm gonna
minus the
defend it
rice
to
and
my
wheat.
death.
Bush apple. I was on vacation last week at a cabin by a lake, and we went to the grocery store to buy some beer. And my brother-in-law was like, "Ooh, bush apple," and like I had to like drag him out by his ear. I'm like, "Don't!"
You like immediately
bush
punch him in
apple.
the face. You're like,
Did you just grab him like really hard by the back of the arm?
Yeah.
Just
I was like,
let me
"Hey,
talk. Let me talk to
get in
you
the
over
car.
here.
Get in the car."
Let me talk to you over here for a second. I just want to say, we're not getting that right. You understand? We're not bringing
Don't
bush
say
apple.
those
Ask
out loud.
again. Don't ask again.
We're not bringing bush apple on vacation.
Don't ruin my fucking vacation. Yeah, Meg loves bush apple. She lives for it.
I haven't had it in like a month.
Haven't had it in like a month. It's like you haven't seen your children in a month. You're like, I haven't had it in like a month. All right.
Bush apple every other weekend.
Yeah, she splits custody with bush apple. And, All right, let's get a little bit into this movie. I don't think we're going to go through the whole plot synopsis of this sumbitch because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But let's kind of just go around the horn here. Talk about some of our favorite parts or things that stood out to you. How'd you feel about the movie overall? And then we'll talk about like the general plot synopsis. I guess we could set it up here first. It's a group of blue collar crew of people who are specialized in removing asbestos, right? And there's this big old damn haunted ass looking insane asylum that they decide, that they're gonna bid on this job. They go in, they're getting the whole like show around type of thing. And there are, basically 5 main guys in the movie, which let me bring up who's who, because they all have just the most white dude names you ever heard in your life.
Well, you got Gordo.
Yeah. Gordo.
So you got, first of all, you got top billed guy here. It's Mr. David Caruso. I mean, this son of a bitch. He's like if Bobby Flay smoked 100 cigarettes every day for his whole life. He's Phil. Does he not look like that?
He does.
Yeah.
He's a bit leathery.
Yeah. He's like if Bobby Flay like had enough camel points to buy the kayak. he's Phil. And that was my reference at the top of the film, or at the top of the episode. If you didn't pick up that hilarious reference, it was because David Caruso, you'll know him from CSI Miami. That was definitely his main. He was called, what was his name? Horatio something or other.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, Horatio Kane on CSI Miami. So you'll know him immediately.
The name does not feel like it lines up.
Horatio.
No, it's just
Kane.
that's a terribly overwritten, and it sounds like it belongs in a novel.
Yeah, Horatio Kane sounds like he is like some guy with like a frilly collar that, fucks one of his servants in one of these, Downton Abbey style porn novels you get at the fucking gas station. Then you have one Mr. Josh Lucas, which I like Josh Lucas a lot. Barely recognize him in this one because he had a sick ass Fu Manchu, but I like him because he plays like a dirty scumbag real well.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like immediately recognized him first in it, and then I had to like Google like where he's from, and I think the first thing I ever saw him was Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh
I'm
no!
gonna shamefully say that out loud.
He was in the Forever Purge. He was in Yellowstone, or he's still in, I think, Yellowstone.
I have not watched that show yet.
I've only seen a couple episodes, but it's got a big it's got a big following. The Forever Purge last year he was in. I just watched Ford versus Ferrari which he was in.
Okay.
But he's in a few other genre flicks that. Oh, he was in The Firm, the 2012 version of The Firm. Beautiful Mind, American Psycho. He's in quite a few kind of genre and genre adjacent things
in this movie. I like it.
Yeah, no, the motherfucker pulls it off. That's
like me, good facial hair.
Yeah,
you definitely believe that he thinks casinos are the be all end all.
Yes. Yeah, and yeah, he's kind of the scumbag one here, which we'll learn a little bit more about why, particularly he's a scumbag. And then you have the great Peter Mullen as Gordon, and Gordon is kind of set up to be the protagonist in a lot of ways, but spoiler alert, we're gonna spoil the living hell out of this movie. It comes to be a little bit more complicated than that. He pulls off because he is Scottish.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys I think can do pretty much any kind of accent. He can do like a British accent really well. He can do an American accent really well. But you'd know him from like The Vanishing. He was in My Name Is Joe. He's in Ozark. What else? He was in a couple.
How far into Ozark?
What's that?
How far into Ozark?
I think he was in.
I just started watching it, but I'm not too far in. But I like the show.
From 2017 on until currently, I guess. Or then they just did the last season of Ozark.
Yeah, they just did the last season.
So he was 2017. I don't know what season that is until. Wait, or is that the whole series? That might be the whole series.
Might be the whole series.
Anyway,
I'm trying to think because I've seen Ozark, but I just don't remember him per se. But
he plays. He's way farther up at the top. I passed him. Jacob Snell in Ozark. Don't know who that is.
I think that might be a season 3 thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, I know who he is. Okay. Yeah, that's like a season 2, season 3 thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, you haven't run into
yet.
him yet, Meg.
But yeah, he is in Westworld. He's in Braveheart. He's in a bunch of shit. You recognize his face immediately. He's a very accomplished actor. So you've got your Phil, you've got your Hank, you've got your Gordo, and then you've got Mike, who is played by Stephen Gevedin. I know I've seen this guy's face before, but I don't know him from a lot. And he is definitely not nearly as recognizable as those first three people. He was in War of the Worlds Tom Cruise remake as well. But in any case, those are kind of the main characters. You also get Brendan Sexton III, who is Gordon's nephew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's his nephew, Jeff.
Fucking Jeff,
AKA Mullet Head.
Yeah, and he's got a sick ass mullet,
and
then you get a quick little, not enough in my opinion, Larry Fessenden right at the end.
Yeah,
Love me some Larry Fessenden. So those are kind of the main players. You got Phil, Hank, Gordon, and Mike and Jeff, and they go into this. They kind of are putting a lot of pressure on themselves to get this job. They say it's going to be a 3-week job. They said they can do it in 2 weeks, and then eventually Gordon basically suckers them in. The rest of the crew, he's so desperate for money because he's just had a baby and all this stuff, and he says he can do it in a week, which puts a whole bunch of pressure and strain on it. And the whole thing is, the interaction between them in the working through all the stuff they have going on personally, and then Gordon is obviously kind of cracking up, and then one thing we should probably mention early on, which creates a lot of tension in the group, is Hank is dating Phil's ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
They weren't married.
I don't think they were married. I think he was just boyfriend, girlfriend, and then Hank took her away.
Yeah. So Gordon's kind of the foreman. He's the old dude. He's been around the block. Phil's kind of his right-hand man. Hank's kind of the young, irresponsible dickhead. Mike is the underachiever kind of thing, where he's going to graduate from law school, but then he either doesn't, or he dropped out, or he's trying to go back, or he's almost ready to finish, or something like that. But he's kind of the underachiever type, and then Jeff is just like the fuck up nephew who's a scared of the dark.
Nectophobia.
Is that what it's called?
I think that's what he's called.
I thought that was when you're scared of nectarines.
Yeah.
Not a great joke, guys.
I just like the way Brian stared down other Brian.
I just said that was a bad joke, right? Yeah. Let's keep going on.
Can't confirm.
Can't confirm. Bad joke. Moving on, it's just with like a look of just like sympathy, but also disappointment.
Why am I?
I'm not going to laugh at that, but
you did say
it.
Appreciate you.
I heard it.
I'm just letting you steer the ship.
All right. So what's your takes? You've seen this before, Steve, before this viewing.
Yeah.
Brian, you had as well.
Correct.
Meg, first time watch for you.
Yeah.
I had seen it once or twice before. What's everybody's take on it? How'd you feel about the movie? Even from first watch to second watch or whatever.
So for me, it was like I've only seen the movie probably once or twice. I think it used to play a lot on IFC.
I could,
which is where I think I saw it. Like back in the days where they just played fucking 4 movies, and it was Quiet On and this movie and and Swingers, and that's about it.
Oh man, they used to play Swingers.
They played the shit out of Swingers, but yeah. So I remember watching a movie from back then, and it's just like I hadn't seen it in probably easily 10, 15 years maybe.
Yeah,
and it was just funny because I remembered immediately how it ended.
Mm-hmm.
So the beginning where you get all this, stuff with Gordon, Phil, and the other guy who's played by Paul Guilfoyle, and Paul Guilfoyle showing them the entire asylum and everything. Mm-hmm. Like you get little hints of that Gordon is how things end with Gordon.
Yeah,
because you get the security guard who's like, oh, patients always return. Mm-hmm. That's our biggest problem. Yeah. And then the other thing is there's a scene where they're in the basement and Gordon just starts leading.
Yeah.
as if he knows where he's going.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of like a clue that like
Yeah,
perhaps he's been here.
Yes, you start to know early on that, and this is kind of the mystery element. You know early on that something's going on with Gordon. He just had a baby. There's some stuff at home. When they got the job, he went back to his house, and something went wrong. You don't know what necessarily, but he's sleeping in his car, which you don't necessarily know right away, but there's a lot of hints to suggest that that's the case. Things are going not great at home. You could just try to chalk it up to like he's got a new baby. He's obviously like an older first-time dad, from what I can understand. Yeah, they kind of allude to the fact that they've been trying for a long time to have a baby, but things are rough, right? Financially, personally, all that sort of thing. And then there's a lot of suggestion that, you know, when things weird stuff starts to happen, especially, well, I guess the big thing that kind of kicks stuff off, besides, you know, Gordon's kind of strange behavior, is Hank, who is, like I said, the kind of scumbag guy with the Fu Manchu. When he's working, and you know they're working in different areas of the hospital, he finds a bunch of valuables, a bunch of old coins, but it was clearly possessions of people.
Right.
And we all know from every movie we've seen, you never take the treasure.
Don't take the treasure.
Take the treasure.
Dead people treasure, off limits.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
It's not off
rule of
limits,
thumb,
but
actually.
you know, you're rolling the dice.
You're rolling
Yeah.
the dice. Yeah. Not a smart move.
Yeah.
Not only does he take it, but then he plans to kind of come back, take some more, and then he's like, you know, I'm going to fuck off to casino school or something.
Right.
Which is like, what the fuck is casino school?
Yeah, I don't.
Is that like gambling school?
I
Or like
wasn't
he's going to be a
sure.
dealer?
That's what I thought. It's like
I wasn't sure.
I thought he was maybe going to Miami to learn how to deal or whatever. But then, because he tells the story about his friend was a dealer at a casino, and a whale comes in and wins $300,000, and then tips the dealer a Porsche 911. So Hank's big aspirations is to get a good tip.
Hank's not thinking this through. Hank's not a mental giant. Let's put it that way. He's an opportunist.
Yeah.
He's
Well, he also plays scratchers.
Yes.
And that's super low rent.
Yeah.
Especially when like Mega Millions and Powerball exists.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Getting real judgmental over here.
Yeah.
Gamblers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insert the gambler like hotline or gambling problem hotline.
If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800. I thought you meant insert like the gambler, like Kenny Rogers. The gambler. Insert right here.
He just
Quick.
like pops up in one of the corners. Did you catch it?
But yeah, so
The other thing that's going on is Mike has found a bunch of recordings
yes,
from a patient, Mary, and her doctor.
that's another thing. Don't do if you
Yeah.
find old like reel to reel kind of recordings.
Don't listen.
Don't listen.
It's going to bum you out.
Nothing good's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind
I
of
watched
surprising.
Sinister.
It's never
I did watch
sugar
Sinister,
pie,
so.
honey bun. It's always like terrible recording.
No, it's that, but in a minor key.
What's that?
It's that.
That in a minor key.
It's that voice that keeps talking to
Yeah.
Gordon singing it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Mike got real lucky that he found like an interesting case as compared to just like a chronic masturbator, as like
That
most
would be
people
more,
were.
more interesting.
Yeah. Like most people were chronic
Yeah.
masturbators
Like this
back
guy
in the
eats bugs and jerks
Well,
off.
according
40
to
times
the log book that they found of why
Yeah.
they were admitting all the patients.
Yeah.
A lot of it was pretty
pretty
boring.
banal. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like you
totally.
wouldn't even go to jail for most of it. It was just like, I was real depressed about like the way things turned out for me. So I had to go to I have to be committed.
Yeah. Well, and you could tell too that they were trying to communicate this idea of like you could pretty much get committed against your will for like any reason.
Yeah.
That's why they
Like
had the
this-
ABCD. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a D, if you're just like, I'm sad today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you go to D.
Or there was ones that even suggested like they pissed the wrong person off almost, you
Right.
know, kind of thing, and they got jammed in there. So yeah, he starts listening to sessions with this woman or
Mary
girl
Hobbs, yeah.
named Mary Hobbs, and guess how many sessions there are?
Well, we hear at least 9.
Yeah, there's at least 9 sessions. But you're talking about how she had multiple personality disorder. So what were some of the names? I'm trying to remember.
Peter?
Yeah.
Billy.
Wait, was Peter one of them? I thought
Yeah,
Peter
Billy
was her
and
brother.
Simon.
Yeah, Billy's. Where was Peter though? There was a Peter.
Peter, I thought Peter was her brother.
No, Peter is his brother. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
Yeah.
my bad.
Simon was Simon was up to no good. You knew
Simon's
Simon was
like
the one
third
you're
deep.
worried about. Then there was like another one that was
There
like
was the princess.
I was gonna say Sweetie. There was no Sweetie. It was Princess.
Yeah, there was the
Sweetums.
princess, Billy, and Simon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the princess lives in the mouth, and Billy lives in the eyes, and Simon lives in the butt.
Yeah. Good old butt Simon. I'm trying to imagine that game Simon where you hit the colors, but you're doing it with butt cheeks.
Is this just a big game of Simon Says? Like that's what this movie
That's
actually is.
what it is.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
it's
what
like
it
that
is.
Ouija movie.
Yep. It was an adaptation by Milton Bradley. You didn't know, Meg? Did
Yeah.
you not read?
Where are your notes, man? So Gordon is also hearing voices, which you don't they definitely do a pretty good job of being vague about where they are coming from. Where you think that they're kind of trying to set up this red herring of Mary is like haunting them and is talking, or Simon perhaps, which is one of Mary's alter egos, is talking to Gordon or talking to the crew at large.
Yeah.
So when you're hearing these voices, like I know you can hear me, and blah blah blah, all this stuff, there's a lot of red herring. So I remember the first time I watched this, I was like, I wasn't convinced that, spoiler alert, Gordon is crazy as fuck. You didn't necessarily know that. You thought maybe it could be supernatural. It could be he has some sort of sixth sense that's picking up on one of the other guys is fucked up, or has some sort of past that's connected to the hospital. But you start to learn at some point somebody's got some sort of past that's connected to the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Well, and Mike, they spell it out pretty early as well that Mike has some tie to the hospital, and that his dad was a lawyer that was a public defender for they're telling this horror story of a woman who went under regression therapy, and she remembered a whole bunch of satanic panic stuff, that she was getting raped by her family and had to eat babies and do all that kind of shit, and then it came out, oh, she just imagined all of that. So her Mike's dad was the lawyer that had to defend all this. So he had some sort of tie to this giant hospital.
yes. So that's the whodunit element almost, if you will. Is who is the one that has the weird connection to the hospital?
Right.
As a noob to this movie, and it's first time watcher, even just hearing you guys talk about this, it makes sense what you're saying. It's he was at some point possibly admitted to this hospital, but it definitely came off to me more of a possession thing.
Right.
And so, I mean, can we be clear on are you again?
See,
bring this down.
See, I don't think it was a possession, because this film is really, really good at being kind of both vague, but also just like Brian is saying, it kind of puts a red herring on everybody at some point.
Well, the only reason why I say this too is because Simon's character at the end talks about how he preys on the weak, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I was and they kept coming back to Mary Hobbs, he was always near her grave, and then finding her room, and then the chair, and all this stuff like that. So that's where I was just okay, so is Mary basically possessing him throughout this entire film, or periodically coming back to him and finding him, and then by proxy, Simon's getting to him?
That's how I took it a little bit too. I don't know if you.
I think that it could be something where Mary's personalities are kind of metaphor for the demons that live in all of us, since everybody kind of has
Sure.
their own thing going on.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like about this movie is a lot of times you'll watch a movie and you're like, if this movie had a bigger budget, it could be better. If this movie
Sure.
had a bigger budget, it would probably be worse. So
Yeah,
they probably would have
yeah.
tried to over explain and add extra effects and all of these things. And because
Right.
it's so small scale, it unintentionally leaves it open to all of this crazy interpretation.
Yeah.
And I also think too, throughout the whole thing, is that I felt confused for a lot of it. Things were revealed very slowly throughout it, but you still got to know each character, and I thought that was a really good way for them to do it, because it kept me being okay, I know something's happening, I know something's up with this character, but how is it going to connect to the end? And at the end is where more things do start coming together. So I thought that was a really good way they did it. And I think even on a small budget, I think that's an effective way to like keep you interested.
And it was a well-paced movie, I think, too. Like it's not
I mean, it's almost 2 hours. It's like an hour and 45 minutes or something,
something like that.
It's 100 minutes.
100 minutes.
100 minutes.
100 minutes.
But it was well paced. It felt, even though it is kind of a slow burn if you think about it.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens until the last act, kind of. Well, not last act, but like halfway through the movie, really.
Right. Yeah. And that's just like that's the audio recordings playing, making you think something is going on. Because there's that one kind of montage where they're panning through what everybody's doing after work, and everybody's pretty sullen and not like happy or engaged. Because like I think like Hank's at the casino and Phil's at the bar, and like everybody's pretty. But you also have like this creepy ass recording playing.
Yeah.
There did feel like, I feel like with Mike's character, there felt like some unfinished things with him. Like because clearly he was so invested in this story, but there was like no other connection to, like, no one knew he was doing this. No one knew that. Like, I'm like, why is this like such a focus besides it being like him at some point bringing it up? I don't know.
Right.
Like, I don't.
Why was he so interested? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And they did a great job of like showing that he is like, when he is arguing with Hank and they're talking about how they do the frontal lobotomies and stick the spike through their eye kind of thing, or above their eye, or
but
whatever.
He didn't say it around Gordon either, which could have brought another connection to like.
True, but then he grabbed Hank and like what did he have? Like
he grabbed Jeff.
He grabbed Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. Yeah. It was Jeff. And like basically, acted like he was going to do it, but it was kind of in like a, grab ass and kind of we're screwing around, but it was still like, well, everybody was like, whoa, what the fuck kind of thing. So yeah, that was a great, I remember the first time watching it going like, yeah, Mike is super crazy, and you're going to learn how that's why he isn't a lawyer or whatever. He's fucking out of his mind or whatever.
I almost wonder if this movie had too many characters. Like if it went from 5 to 3 and like Gordo was the one that found the tapes and as a result remembered that he was part of the hospital or remembered that he knew Mary, it could be cool. I think it would have been like a little bit more intimate.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that I didn't really care about, like Hank and Phil's like mutual love thing and all of their like snarky early 2000s edge humor at each other. It's just kind of like, ugh.
But that kind of almost seemed like another thing that was unfinished, because like that's when like we start seeing Gordo being like, no, I didn't hear you talking to Amy. So it's like, wait, you know what I mean? Like, but I feel like that moment I was like, wait, so we have some disbelief in like this story, but like, does that mean Phil is like, again, a red herring who's like, maybe he's the one who's like possibly the murderer here.
And they even almost lead you to that conclusion.
Right.
Because
he has the knife in his hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. You could have got rid of the nephew.
Yeah,
he could have.
See, that's the only character I feel like I want to keep that character, but I want to expand him more because he's the only one that doesn't have a motive.
Yes,
because Mike has a motive, like you were saying, like he has a tie to the hospital and maybe he's just crazy. Like we find out what Gordon's motive is. Phil has a motive of like wanting to get rid of Hank because every time he's trying to get rid of Hank throughout the entire
whole
film.
thing. He's trying to plant the seed of doubt,
but he's not trying to kill him.
No,
is what
he's trying to fire him.
Right. And then Hank is finding fucking possessed treasure. So you think maybe Hank is just possessed by possessed treasure and like trying to kill people.
Well, and especially, which we haven't got to yet, but then Hank after he does steal all the stuff, he comes back and he meets the guy. Or no, never mind. That's Phil who meets the guys in the parking lot or whatever. But
anyway, he's a secret. He's a secret addiction.
He has a secret addiction to Mary Jane. He's smoking that goddamn jazz cabbage out in
that disco broccoli.
Deleted scenes is that all of the weed that he got was Halloween shaped things.
Oh man, yeah. What if it's just like you just took the screen out a little further and he's just but no, he
made a pumpkin bong or something. Can you do that this year?
Pumpkin bong. Yes, Meg, we can make a pumpkin bong. We will. God damn it. How have I never made a pumpkin bong? I've smoked weed at Apple since I was 10. Never fucking... God damn it.
That'd be intense.
Yeah.
Have you smoked weed out of a bush apple? ...
Oh, I'm gonna.
I'm gonna make you.
Out of a bush apple can. So fucking Hank goes MIA. doesn't show up the next day. And they're like, "Oh, he fucked off with the valuables that he found," and he even said about how he was going to go to fucking casino school or whatever.
How high priority this whole job is. They were not worried as
they're taking
early.
tons of breaks.
Yeah.
The whole thing was giving me so much anxiety for like somebody who's worked not necessarily asbestos removal, but like work jobs like that.
No, you work doubles. Yeah.
Yeah, it gave me so much anxiety to see them sitting around.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was making me so fucking anxious.
Also,
I was like,
the
"Guys,
way
you
they're
have a
like
week.
cleaning
What are
things
you
up, I'm like, if
doing?"
Right.
you get a shovel, you're gonna be good. Like,
Yeah.
stop picking up
The place is
pieces. Like,
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the place is unbelievably huge,
guys,
and they're just
our
like,
work ethics are not like these guys. We could have gotten it done in 1 week.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
let's say.
"Let's do it. Let's start a crew."
I wish so going back to the valuables thing, I feel like that was one of that could have been a really cool way to make that movie way creepier. Like when he starts pulling out the clumps of hair, like with the coins and stuff. Like I wish that it would have been more than what it ended up being.
Did you feel
and
like
also like who knows what what was the coin collecting market like in the early 2000s? I mean, I don't know if this is like a period piece or anything like that, but how much money could he have possibly made?
Yeah, enough for him to go to the casino for a few days.
I mean, once he
guess,
has
but-
everything stacked up, it only seemed like there was maybe,
Yeah.
like
it
you know,
looked like a casino machine?
you
in
could
the
have went to
first place
Coinstar,
anyway.
you know?
he's just putting a bunch of like old ancient doubloons. In
He also
Coinstar.
puts the tooth in there too, and he's like, "Does this work?"
He's putting the teeth in the
No,
Coinstar.
but I felt the same way about once they hit the clump of
The
hair.
whole movie idea is an old creepy guy coming in with a bag of teeth putting in the Coinstar
I mean,
machine.
yo, if you want to talk like some real like post-apocalyptic thing when like our organs mean nothing anymore and we actually are just trading limbs in it at grocery
You
stores.
did watch Crimes of the
I was going
Future.
to say you should watch Crimes.
Yeah,
of the
watch
Future.
Crimes of the
That's pretty
Future.
much the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems very Cronenberg.
No, but like I felt the same way when I saw the hair. I was like, okay, that means Mary Hobbs is in this fucking wall.
I thought
like,
so,
again,
too.
Like what the fuck?
I
Like,
remember,
this is
yeah.
what I wanted to
Oh
see.
yeah, they have that scene where like the camera pans out from like inside. I guess it's supposed to be like a thing you burn bodies in or whatever.
Oh, like an incinerator.
Incinerator, because
Yeah,
it says like caution hot and it pans out to like that hospital room.
yeah.
And then it never. That's it. It ends there.
No,
it's just
yeah.
a cool
they have
shot.
All this
Yeah,
stuff.
There's like a lot of like artistic shots that
Yeah.
don't add up.
Yeah, they show that goddamn wheelchair 700 times.
Yeah.
Nothing really ever happens.
And
with
also
it.
what the fuck is that? The tub
the
thing
water
in the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
therapy thing.
Right, I wanted something to happen with that too. Almost like this. What is it? Is it House on Haunted Hill where they go into the old like asylum and stuff like that, where it's like you start getting
No, that's session 9.
that's such a nice. Oh, yeah. Yep.
You're thinking of session 9, Brad Stevens.
No.
Yes,
Yep.
no, you're
Yep.
right.
I'm gonna back off from this.
No.
I'm just gonna do a bad sign because the building was bad. There
No.
we go.
No, there is 100%. I know what movie you're thinking of. I
Yeah.
can't place it either, but there is a movie where they do. Fuck. Yeah. Anyway, any case, yeah. So that stuff. I also read all that stuff was already just there. So they just like.
Of course.
That's why it never really got worked into the plot.
So
is
we actually were
because-
just getting a tour. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
So this was actually maybe just like a haunted house tour,
Yeah.
then mixed with a horror movie.
Yeah, this was that West Virginia penitentiary
Idea.
basically.
Find the location before you write your movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
All this stuff that could have been part of the plot ended up just being set dressing because they couldn't. Yeah, because the fucking script was written.
Yeah.
but-
Twist is that Gordo's character actually brought them to this asylum, and they're like, "Okay, well, cool, we're here.
yeah.
Let's go."
Turns out Gordo was just looking for a cheap spa day for his
He
crew.
was actually the director.
No, he was the director the entire time.
There hasn't been a director here in 140 years.
You've always been the director, sir.
Hank goes MIA. Phil is kind of like, told you so. And then they start hearing and seeing things that would suggest that maybe Phil is there. Specifically, the dipshit cousin sees him. And he's staring out a window like a weirdo with sunglasses on. And, this was a pretty good foreshadowing thing where they talked about how, how do you do the... What do you say about the sunglasses when he's talking about, like, how do you get rid of, like, the scar from a lobotomy or
Oh,
whatever?
it's
Just don't
just
wear 'em at
the
night.
after treatment.
The after treatment. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, and then you see Hank wandering around. Hank's got the sunglasses on, staring
Right.
out the window. He's got blood on his
The
hands.
coolest sunglasses, by the way.
Sick ass wraparounds.
Definitely likes NASCAR.
Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
got a
yeah, yeah.
mask. He's got a fucking Dale Earnhardt Intimidator.
That's
fucking
what he bets on,
tattoo.
actually, guys.
Yeah. When he said Vegas, he meant Talladega. He's just saying, just looking out the window, holding up the 3 Intimidator style. So he,
Fuck Jeff Gordon.
fuck you, Jeff Gordon. I almost said a very derogatory thing that my very redneck cousins used to call Jeff Gordon back in the day. Look it up, guys. Anybody who knows NASCAR from the 90s, you know the insult I'm talking about. Spoiler alert, it's homophobic. Anyway, so the dickhead nephew, I keep wanting to say cousin, the dickhead nephew comes back and says, hey, I just saw Hank. And they're like, bitch, please, he ain't here, you know? And then they start looking for him. They split up, classic Scooby-Doo move. They split up into 2 areas of and one group is like not really looking for him at all.
Yeah. They don't care.
They're like, I hope this guy, like, he's not here and we're glad he's gone.
Yeah.
But then they find him, and what was a pretty creepy scene is Hank just like chilling in the, like, way down in the catacombs of the place in his underwear, like just mumbling and being weird.
Which he got naked from the scene he was last seen in.
Yeah.
Right, and
He had clothes on and then just got naked. And he's like,
Where
what are you
was the
doing
tie?
here?
Okay, can you guys break down, maybe since you've seen it a few more times than I have, like, where is the tie with these coins though? Because they did the flip.
There isn't.
I was like, the flip. He drops a coin, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff starts happening to you. I'm like, where is the tie?
Because there is one scene where I believe Phil has one of the coins in his hand, and Gordo sees it and makes like a really like intense eye contact, sort of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What the
There
fuck
might
is
even
that?
been like a music sting-ish type of thing.
Oh, I'm
that
sure
had
some
to
of the
it.
great score,
Yeah.
that legendary score.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that on air. This is probably a good time to talk about it. You have experience with the soundtrack.
Well, yeah, on the VHS copy of this cinematic experience, there is an advertisement, a commercial for the soundtrack, and it's very early 2000s, edgy, and just hyping up the soundtrack, saying it's something that you've never heard, a unique experience. I'll rip the audio from the soundtrack, and so not from the soundtrack, from the VHS tape, so you can hear it, because I should have actually just did it before I came, but it's irrelevant at this point. But the movie doesn't have much of a score that's
pretty
super
sparse.
audible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that's worth looking into.
It would've
with
been
the
funny-
exception of like Jeff's boombox that he brings when he's like trying to listen to that sweet metal.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other like dollar store versions of popular songs that are in the movie. It's not the actual song.
Yeah.
It's just like the
Close enough.
karaoke instrumental version of that song.
Yeah.
Like when they're listening to the radio and stuff.
Kind of sounds like Power Man 5000, but like
Sure.
not
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I thought you were going to say, when you were telling us about this before we started recording, I thought you were like, it's unlike nothing you've ever heard, but then it's just a bunch of like early 2000s new metal and late 90s.
My mind went
It's
to new
just
metal
all
too.
Prodigy
Well,
and
it-
Korn. and
presume.
shit,
It doesn't say anything about artists that are on the soundtrack. So
Yeah.
I mean, they specifically use the word score. So I think they are talking about that like ambient noise,
Yeah.
soundscape sort of stuff.
Which doesn't really exist. And like
In the
Even
second,
this-
and like say the last third of the movie, there is a lot. When things start to get intense, they do use more of like some sounds, but
Yeah.
it's very like
even the sound design itself is pretty. It feels very dated.
sure, it's like like Halloween Looney Tunes sound effects, sort of like zing type things.
There's definitely some really more recognizable like sound drops that you'd be like, maybe they should like remaster this. Like, do it again.
You wonder if they had some sort of deal, and I'm trying to look to see who actually did the sound or did the original score for this, where if it was like a big name where they were like, man, like it was worked into his agreement that we're going to release the sound effect and promote it and all that sort of stuff. but I'm not seeing anything jumping out as really.
Yeah,
alarming
no,
in
I
that
think
space.
it was probably more of like this movie was so cheap to make, and even though it doesn't look cheap, like it was just so cheap to make, and it's just like around that time, it's 2001. Everybody's still trying to sell as
They
much
could
as
only
they can.
sell exposure to him. Like that's part of his contract. It's like
Maybe.
There was a lot of movies at that time, and really it's no different today, that are just very much like pumped out.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was actual genuine intent behind this movie as like a really artistic project for those who were involved.
Yeah.
It's funny that it was written by two people. Doesn't seem like between two people they could have figured out something better than Casino School. But that's fine.
You don't remember 2001? It was all the rage.
Everybody was going to Casino School.
Casino School.
Yeah. That's what everybody wanted.
Yeah, I was in high school in 2001. All I wanted was I applied to all the casino schools, didn't get in any of them. But it was it's weird because we were talking about this earlier too. This movie actually holds up pretty well compared to a lot of movies from 2001.
Yeah. You know what? Just one quick note before we move on from the music is it could have been another thing of where they filmed the movie, because this is what happened with Clerks. So they filmed Clerks, and Clerks basically had no music. And then after Miramax bought Clerks, they added music in, and then were able to release a soundtrack along with that.
Okay.
So maybe that's something that happened with this, is that they filmed
sold
this
it to
movie,
somebody,
sold it to whoever distributed it, and then they
I
added
think
in.
it's Lionsgate or one of those.
I was going to say it's a fairly big name distribution company.
So
Yeah,
it might
'cause
have been something along
My
those lines.
VHS tape that I have is one that I acquired of many when I was a key manager at Blockbuster Video
Nice.
in the early 2000s.
Nice.
You're burying the lead here. You're a manager at Blockbuster.
Certainly was.
I
Blue Collar Gang. What up? I just made that up. That wasn't a thing.
I applied.
Please
to
do it for
Blockbuster.
anyone who's ever worked at like
Yeah.
Blockbuster. Please just go like blue collar gang.
Blue
What
Collar
up?
Gang.
The Blockbuster in fucking Elwood City. It's a tanning salon now. I applied there like 4 times. They would never call me back. But I was,
Damn.
yeah, I was just
Shame.
worst thing that ever happened to me. I did get an interview at Eagle Video.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay, and also they were
I just can only
very
imagine.
close to going out of business.
I just can only imagine you in an interview for this, but you're just like really desperate, and so
Yeah.
you're saying all the wrong things. You're
Yeah.
like you just gonna watch movies.
You were
all
like, you
day.
don't even have to pay me. Like, I was just like, also, I'm sure I like fucking skated up and like I was probably waxing their curbs like right before the interview.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're not hiring that fucking kid.
You
I
said
know he
fuck
is.
at least 5 times.
Yeah. No, it was the right move to not hire me, but I really wanted to work at Blockbuster.
This is a total side tangent, but it's a podcast. So that's how things work.
Yeah.
When I worked at Blockbuster, one of my favorite things to do, Blockbuster. When I worked down at Blockbuster, one of my favorite things to do was look at the applications that people would submit. And I have 2 memories from these applications that are pretty great.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that was on the application was like, have you ever been convicted or had a felony or anything like
Yeah.
that? And on one of the
I
applications,
said, hell yeah.
somebody had just wrote the word knife. Which I always thought was pretty sick. And then
What if that was just his name and he just wrote it on the wrong line?
It just reads knife like 5 times. What's your name? Knife. Last name? Knife.
What were you
Gender,
convicted of? Knife.
Sex? Knife. Which relates to the felony. But
What was your last job? Knife.
knife.
And then the other one was also a fun 1-word answer. And it was just like, do you have any special skills or things that would be, applicable to your application? Somebody just wrote basketball.
Nice. Pretty sick. Pretty sick.
Fucking good at basketball. Cool, man.
You get the basketball
Oh my
guy
God.
and the knife guy together.
That first one was
Stellar
actually
team.
Brian,
Yeah,
I
my
think.
God.
I
So,
think the first one was
This
you.
is the one thing that always,
No, mine would have been like, I got it like a mean 360 flip.
yeah.
That's all. That's my only skill.
I'll tell you
skateboard.
what. I don't know how good of an employee knife would have been, but their employee picks probably would have been fire.
Yeah.
Would have been
Easily.
great.
They would have had great employee
If his
picks.
name was Knife, imagine introducing him And anytime anybody had a pen knife and they're opening mail or whatever, he'd be like, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." And you pull a knife in.
Tying Blockbuster into horror movies, I'll share one more story.
Yes,
just
please do.
because this is fun.
Actually, I'm done with the movie. Just do Blockbuster.
So there was before I started working at Blockbuster, there was this gentleman that worked at the Giant Eagle in the same shopping center.
Where is this? I got where
Edgewood Town Center.
Okay, got it.
All right.
And I remember this guy's name. Not gonna say it. Doesn't matter. But he always had like horror movie T-shirts on and stuff. And I would see him all the time pushing carts. Like a really antisocial type looking person. When I started working at Blockbuster, he would come in every Friday and of course rent all of the new horror movies. Always. And he did this every Friday, all the time. Quiet guy. The most frightening thing this dude ever did was one week he had his stack of horror movies plus a copy of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh, no.
It was the most frightening thing that guy ever did.
Yeah.
He was probably a little bit curmudgeon-y about it too. He's like, God fucking damn it, I gotta grab
Well,
it.
I'm wondering if he that was like.
Well, you're thinking about it in a kind way. I'm thinking about it way worse.
Oh God, I want to know. It's good.
He was just a big America Ferrera fan. What are you guys so uppity about?
But anyways, that was that guy.
Fun.
Knife.
But the thing that was rad was a lot of the stuff that he would rent. I would be make notes. I got to get that when he brings it back.
He knew his shit.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to ask him about it.
No. He wasn't a super social person.
Yeah.
But super funny. I remember recently, in the past 2 years, I was driving through that neighborhood and I saw him walking down the street.
Oh,
shit. Was he
He's
still
still
wearing
kicking.
Oh yeah, he had he had a Fangoria t-shirt on or something for sure.
Sick.
Just living it.
Love it.
Nice.
Will never change.
Yeah, never change. You just rolled on the window. Never change.
No. I mean, hey,
He's doing his thing. He's thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, still above ground.
It wasn't a traveling pants t-shirt. That'd be actually pretty good.
He actually, it's funny. He's decked out in horror gear, but if you take his shirt off, he just has all these Sister of the Traveling Pants tattoos.
Hey, he might. Who knows why that movie was rented? It was just so odd.
Yeah.
In the mix of everything.
Yeah.
It always stood out. It's a memory that is burned into my brain.
I don't know if I want to ruin your memory.
His sister was in town, and I'm imagining a niece or something was there, and he was
you know what, Brian, that's really sweet.
Movie that she
See, he's going. I don't know if I want to ruin your memory because I like that you have this memory. You're I'm always gonna remember that guy for that thing, but I would actually love to hear the reason. I just want.
Yeah.
I got to know.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Next time you're driving through, just start driving through and just find him.
Just be like, hey
Please.
Man, this is gonna sound real weird.
Why don't you put him down, Meg? You know what he looks like.
No, I don't.
Antisocial guy with Fangoria t-shirt. Hangs out in Edgewood.
Yeah.
How many could there be?
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do a sketch later.
Do a sketch.
I'll find him.
No, that's fantastic. I always wanted to work at Blockbuster. I'm so sad I never got the opportunity. I have a fantasy of opening my own video store just so I can work at a video store.
So we've talked in the past about your heart tattoo, and we were talking about putting Tubi in it. Do we need to put Blockbuster there too instead of cross out Tubi, put Blockbuster?
I have more affinity for family video because that was the one I frequented more often.
Yeah.
But then Blockbuster was a late entry into my life. It was Eagle Video and Family Video and just a place in Elwood that used to be down under the bridge that was just called Video.
Did you have a West Coast Video? You remember West Coast Video?
Oh, yeah, West Coast Video. There was one in Newcastle, I think, we used to go to when I went to my aunt's house, West Coast Video. I have lived in two, because one of the last remaining Family Videos was right up the road in New Brighton. And they survived just selling CBD, I think, for the last 3 years. And then they finally went out of business. And then they just sold everything super cheap. I went and bought a bunch of
Time and place
DVDs.
is a motherfucker, because imagine today if we still had these video stores, but then they also sold weed and CBD and then also snacks. You know what I mean?
They do. That's pretty much what Family Video has been until they went out of business 2 years ago, officially.
Wait, let's take it back. They did rent videos, but then also sold weed?
That's what he said.
That's what I'm hearing?
CBD.
Okay.
That's not weed.
Yeah.
I know. But I'm sure once
All right.
it becomes like,
Yeah, like
it'll
frozen
come-
pizza isn't pizza, but it's kind of pizza.
Yeah, it's like a little bit pizza.
It's like a little.
That's all they sold was like I guarantee the majority of their revenue
Telling
was
me Red Baron
was
is not-
snacks and CBD. Like I'm sure it was, but I am seeing video stores pop up right beside Time Bomb Toys. There is a place called. Oh gosh, I'm gonna.
I mean, is it owned by the same guys who own Time Bomb, or is it?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're friends.
I could see some like
They don't rent,
Right.
but you go in and it's just a VHS store.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I could see some like niche stores coming up. I mean, even our friends like the night shift video people and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they actually have a store, but you know, you see the videos they do, and they have like it looks like you're walking
Yeah.
into.
Well,
an
same thing
old,
like flashback
rental.
video and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
When
Like,
I
that,
was
for
in
sure.
Atlanta, there's a video rental store called Videodrome. That's like just like
Nice.
all old school, like it's just straight up like an old movie rental store. It's huge.
Yeah.
That sounds
It's
so cool.
wild.
it's only a matter of time. I mean,
I know. I
drive-ins
was like,
are
we
coming
could
back.
have like vintage. I feel like then that's what I feel like it'll be. It'll be like almost like a vintage store that looks like an old video store. Hey guys, let's go. Actually,
Yeah.
we're gonna open that.
Plus, I mean,
and
you
I'll
get
have a brewery
the
in it, though.
and a
your
dispensary
license.
and a brewery
And I
and,
just said,
and an arcade, but
Yeah, and we'll sell heroin.
we'll make
Brian, always taking one.
we'll make
step.
opiate candy corn. But I mean, yeah,
It's just
opiate
Oxycontin.
coated candy corn.
It's just it's just Oxy's painted.
if you like sell if you can rent out like the 4Ks of the real like hard to find like giallo shit and stuff like that, you get like 4Ks of Criterion Collection stuff. I think a lot of people would be interested in
I
like
think
just
so,
renting
too.
it out, like rather than having to pay a fucking streaming service and search and
Yeah.
I wonder
It's
if there's
also the
interest for-
experience. You know, it's kind of that analog
Yeah.
experience thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be really no different than a lot of places that have curated good like vinyl shops.
right.
Where it's like just a place to go where I'm not dealing with the option paralysis of going through like Tubi or Shudder or something like that, where I could just actually look and pick up physical things and be like, oh, like the font on this makes me want to get it, which you
Right.
don't get anymore out of when you're just looking at like
This wild ass cover art is,
Yeah, it's
is
like
calling me.
Oh, that's like 90% of the movies I did. That's the 100% the first time I rented Head of the Family.
Yeah.
Was 100% just because of the cover art or Ghoulies, any of the Ghoulies
Yeah.
movies. The only problem with VHS, and I love VHS tapes, but they don't hold up for shit. Unfortunately,
Well, yeah, like I said, I rewatched my Session 9 on VHS tape, and like it was like I would love to watch a better copy of that or digital because I'm curious because like the frame rate just seemed so fucked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just because of like me watching it on my TV with an upscaler and all this weird like
Sure.
you know just
Yeah.
like
I don't know how it was filmed because I mean 2001 maybe that was a little too early to be filmed on video, but like the version I watched was I think was like a Blu-ray remaster,
yeah. I mean, I like
and it was like it has some like weirdly jerky moments, but overall it looks great.
yeah, it doesn't look
So-
like a bad movie at all, but it's
Yeah.
just like again like a weird frame rate motion thing. But it could have been just my VHS copy.
Yeah,
I just watched. What was the movie you picked last time, Meg? From
Cape Fear.
Oh yeah, I watched the remake of Cape Fear that I have on VHS somewhere here, and it was almost unfucking watchable. And like,
Really?
it was the first time when it was the second time I watched it on from that VHS copy, and I remember the first time I watched it was the same thing. It's just the medium just deteriorates,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But anyway,
So we
Gordon
so-
kills everybody. It's a fucking.
it's a real humdinger of a thing.
One thing I do want to say, and I thought about this earlier about Session 9 that makes it's a slow burn, which is cool. I don't mind that.
No, I
but
like
there
that.
is not one character in this movie that's likable.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really hard to sit through. Because there's no
Sure.
like, I'm not rooting for anybody. I don't care if they die. I don't care if they
Right.
live. I'm just like,
Yeah.
let's get to it. I want to see something exciting.
You
Or
definitely.
feel something. You know, and
I mean,
it
I
takes
feel
a while
like
to
even-
feel anything.
Like I feel like even like the only mildly likable person would be Mike, where you're just like I want him to like grow out of like, but he's so stuck in his own way. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I think you're like
I like Mike.
I liked Mike. Yeah,
I
I
like
think he was
Mike.
the only one, and I didn't hate Jeff because I was just like, yeah, he's just
He's
this
a young
angsty
kid.
fucking teen.
Yeah.
So those are the only two that I'm like, but if we talk about taking back characters, I think it could have been a more interesting thing if we didn't have that contrast and cut out like Mike and Jeff. They might have been the first two characters to go. Kept all the characters you hated, and that could have probably been a more interesting plot.
Yeah.
Probably
Because
more
you don't-
tense.
And there was also the emotional weight of them needing to do the project in a week really didn't have any effect on the total process of the movie. And I also hate how they go like from like Sunday to Monday to Tuesday. And I'm thinking, oh, we're going to get to Monday to the day that it's supposed to be. It stops on Friday.
No,
right?
yeah, and you're right. I felt the
It's
same
like, why
way.
do we even do this?
Because
It's a job of one.
no, I feel like what should have happened is like it should have actually gotten to Monday, but Monday is like they find everything.
The discovery day.
Discovery.
The character from the beginning that's showing them around the place.
Guilfoyle, which
should've-
also is like sticking on my brain because of Silicon Valley. But anyway,
Yeah, like he should have come in on Monday and discovered, everybody with fucking pins in their face. And,
yeah. So wait, do we like backtrack it? Like, okay, Gordo, was he a patient or is he possessed?
I don't think he was a patient or possessed. I think this whole film hinges a lot on coincidence of like Mike coincidentally
But
finds.
he's hearing things.
Yeah, because he's crazy because
Yeah.
he already went nutso and
But
killed
does
his
he have
family.
Simon inside of him, or is Simon again a metaphor for like like we talked about, like, oh, we all have all three of these things. We all got a princess. Wait, where's your princess, guys? I want to
My
meet all of your
princess is
I
my
think-
asshole.
His princess is the one that's too good to drink key lime nitro beer.
My princess is actually a butt plug with a Pikachu tail.
My princess definitely lives on my tongue, so I can have key lime beer.
That's what I actually call. That's what I call my my clown fleshlight princess.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong motherfucker. So here's what this is what I choose to think, because I want this to be the case, but it's probably not. Is so Gordon is obviously unraveling, and I think it's a number of it's like stressors in his life and all these things have triggered this like severe mental illness. He may or may not have some connection back to the asylum. I could be convinced either way, but I think the part that would make it cooler is if the spirits or the negative energy or whatever of all the people who had these traumatic, experiences as a result of their mental illness, or the mental illness that was basically created for them within those four walls, that is what ultimately pushed Gordon to go off the deep end. Kind of.
Yeah.
I almost
what-
thought for like a minute though that like he had killed his wife and child before this project
He
even
did.
I think he
happened.
did, yeah.
He did.
You think before it even started?
100%.
Okay.
Which is
I
why
bet-
he was so much of like, I need this job.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Cool. Like, because that was what I thought and felt, but
I was just going to say, I think that, that again, in my fantasy world where Mike doesn't exist and Gordo's the one that finds the tapes, I think that like it would have been a lot cooler. So it would have stitched together like what's going on
Right.
with him. Well, he heard these tapes and either the tapes were possessing him or he's just finding a lot of relation to what he's dealing
Sure.
with through Mary and finds like I don't know, like when you listen to a podcast with a bunch of people and you find that you relate to it because
Yeah, yeah.
they
You have your
talk
friendship
about
simulator.
fucking clowns and piss or whatever, So
No, I like that. And to go back to the point you were saying about did he, had he killed his family prior to that, I think he had the night that he got the bid, when he went home with the flowers, he killed them that night.
yeah, right.
So-
So,
Well-
it would have been that night then.
That's
so
what
it
I
didn't-
took it as.
well, also at the very beginning of the movie, he's having that issue like I haven't been sleeping well, like I can't
So he
focus
could
on
have
things.
killed
It
them
could have been
earlier.
like before everything.
I
right?
guess he didn't have to have killed her then. I guess whenever she he looks through the window at her and she kind of like is holding the baby and she does this like kind of like half-hearted,
Yeah.
sad grin.
Right, which
that
made
could have been. Oh, I think you're right.
It's all because every time you see the wife, it's kind of like desaturated colors,
Yeah.
like a weird memory
and
sort of
also
thing.
He sees things. We learn later he sees Phil after he's already killed him.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was. Yeah, I think you're right. He had already killed his family at some undisclosed time prior to them even bidding on the thing or bidding on the job.
But he had admitted, like, throughout, like, when we met it, like, I'm assuming Phil was alive when he actually admitted that he had hit her, but then, like, didn't
Yes.
actually admit that. And that's why I feel like...
But he hadn't hit. He had
This
killed
is
her
why I
already,
do
yeah.
think it did happen the night that he got the bid, is, like, there was... And this is why I do think it is a possession film, is that I think he got into the building... And at some point, again, he's tired, he's weak,
that
he's in
makes
a weak
sense,
state.
And Simon latched
home.
onto his butt.
Simon latched onto his butt.
Yeah.
He went home. This shitty thing happened. Simon was
Simon
talking in the
said
back of his
spray to his
head.
cheeks.
He killed his wife and child. And
And
then,
the dog too.
And the dog.
Bastard.
Bruce, are you good over there, bud? Okay, Bruce is good. Sorry, we had to do a check-in.
I like the baby sound effects
Oh,
Yeah.
when they killed the baby.
Wah. Wah.
yeah, but I think like that. You can already tell there's some sort of tumultuous relationship, and Phil gives us that clue that like he didn't really want a kid. So like everything just snapped. So that's why I think it happened the night, like you said, got the bid. I think that's when it
It's
happened.
possible. I
Yeah.
I can't argue that.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All valid points.
Why was that? Because he's scared of the dark. I was gonna say, why was that kid running when all the lights were going?
Scared
out?
of the dark.
He's scared of the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was
He's a
actually
baby.
Cool. I don't know if
You
you
had
guys felt that
goddamn
way. It was
baby
like when he
diapers.
was running away from the light, though. I thought that was actually.
It was a
looked
cool
cool.
scene,
Yeah.
but I was like, if somebody was chasing him, that'd been really scary.
Yeah.
But
It's-
no, it's just
yeah.
he's-
Yeah,
Bitch.
his character was useless.
yeah.
It's also
I
a
will-
cool, it's
oh.
a cool shot because they have all those suits hanging.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
And
wonder
like
what
the
it's
hands are out.
Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, before John meets his demise and he goes in the car and gets a door or
Yeah.
gets an Oreo, I was like, ooh, a Doreo.
I just like to think also Gordo
So
killed
pleased
him.
with yourself.
And then he died, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Oh, Dory.
I also want to
Doreo.
think though that like Gordo killed him just because he was upset that he ate
So
his
if he was out there
Oreos.
looking
These are
for the
very pointed
Dorios, was he
things.
Dorio the Explorer?
Boo. Oh, boo.
Steve claims
and
to
now
like
the soundtrack possibilities have just gone
the
way
roof.
off the deep end.
on the map. Yeah.
Oh
So,
my
so who died? Let me. Hank dies.
Everybody
first.
dies.
Hank
But I mean,
died-
Hank dies first.
Well,
Gordo
Hank actually doesn't
doesn't
die
die, right?
first
We
per
don't
se.
think-
He
I
gets
guess- I mean,
lobotomized.
he
first.
gets. Yes, you're right. He gets lobotomized first.
Yeah.
So he stayed alive the longest.
So wait,
Yeah.
If Phil leaves Hank in the basement and he says that he was still alive at that point,
Yep.
Yeah.
Hank never dies.
No, Hank didn't. That's what I was like where he when
Well,
he killed
then
that
they
last
find
guy.
Hank. Hank's laying.
It's at,
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess, but he's still alive at that point. Like,
Yeah.
remember, he pulls the thing
Yep.
out of his head.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he
still-
stays alive the longest.
right.
Hank maybe never died.
Maybe.
I mean,
He went to casino school.
things. Even after he was lobotomized, he's still the best at
Right.
casinos. He still was
That's the only
valedictorian
thing-
at casinos.
this is the only thing he was
this is
good
the
at.
thing that nobody realizes. It's actually a trilogy. It's Session 9, Session 10, Ocean's 11.
Oh, okay.
These are all prequels.
And Hank is the inside man.
Hank was valedictorian of casino school.
Oh my god.
Gets recruited by Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
Help rob Andy Garcina's casino.
Yeah. Oh man, this is what we call a cinematic universe. Yeah.
so
So
It's the
I guess,
CCU.
yeah.
It's the casino cinematic universe.
Casino cinematic universe, and then it
I
comes
hate
into
you all.
Casino,
Yeah.
the movie Casino,
Mhm.
which Joe Bob Briggs was in,
Right.
Which brings us full circle with the genre. So he,
Thank you, Brian.
yeah, who dies? Okay, so
Then
I
it's
mean,
kind of
Mike-
it's kind of unclear whether like Mike or Jeff get it because it seems like they kind of both get it in the same day, but
Yeah.
like they're both just walking
Yeah,
around.
well, the other thing too. So we kind of get the weird temporary flashbacks. Like we see how Phil is killed. We see how Mike is killed. But we never really see what actually happened to Jeff.
That's true. He just runs up like he's gonna hug him.
Yeah, and then
Well, he has a
think he
knife
took
in
that
his
knife.
he
hand.
has a knife in his hand, but
Yeah.
then it's just a cut to black. There's no like you don't actually see like Jeff laying there dead at all.
Well, you
No.
also
for a
don't
second.
see Mike though either. Though he just comes and runs.
Well, you see the
and then-
pool. You see the puddle of blood
Right, that's
prior,
what- yeah,
so you
yeah.
assume
The
that
only
something
thing
happened in
with
that
Jeff,
gymnasium room.
We see like the handprints, but again, it's on
Yeah.
the wrong side of the door.
When the new worker arrives, he walks
Oh,
past
yeah,
the
that's
van.
right. There's
and
the
it has-
hazmat.
But
you know,
it's
whatever.
again, it's on
Fessenden
the, but it's
rolls
also
up
on the wrong
with
side
his
of the
fucking
car,
sick
unless
hair.
somehow he like went over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's on the
Yeah,
passenger
it does
side.
happen whenever the next guy comes, Colin or whatever his
Yeah.
name
Can we
was.
talk about
Yeah.
how he just like pulled into that car, like pulled into that driveway? I'm like
he
who
runs the fucking place.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's
Larry
somehow.
Fessenden. He's a badass.
Yeah.
I think
Is
He
that,
knows
is
he's
that, is that
good.
the
Yeah.
ultimate like badass like actual like montage?
He
Oh,
has
yeah.
the attitude of someone that just picked up a fresh pack of cigs and downed a couple hot dogs at 7-Eleven on his way.
He's like, I'm here to fucking work, you
Mate,
bitches.
Yeah.
I got a fucking carton of Pall Malls. I'm gonna fucking rip this job a new one.
Meg, I don't
Exactly.
think you understand that he just got contracted for basically 4 days of work and is going to get a $10,000 bonus
Oh,
for
yeah,
I
working a
get
couple
it.
Question.
dollars.
I get it.
Does everybody get a $10,000 bonus
Yes.
or is it split?
No, I
No,
think
they
it's
each get a
they each-
$10,000
they each
bonus.
get it.
Yeah.
They do it in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's why that dude rolls up so hard. He's like, I'm full of fucking 7-Eleven dogs and Siggies.
I think his
and I'm gonna
balls are
tear all
definitely
this out.
full of
Siggies
piss
and
on this
glizzies.
one.
Yeah.
Siggies and Glizzies. That's a t-shirt. Siggies and
That's a
Glizzies.
t-shirt.
10K. I'm up here with 10K worth of Siggies and Glizzies.
Well, it just said, Siggy's Glizzy's 10K. It's all the shirt says.
Siggies, Glizzies, 10K.
But it's actually a gold bar
You
at
think
the
it's
bottom.
like
Was it a race?
That says 10K on it.
Was that a charity race?
What'd you do? Like, is that for cystic
Charity for
fibrosis?
your
Or?
mom. Let's go.
Charity for your mom. Larry Fessenden is the dude who, when you are doing a job like that, you want a dude who looks like Larry Fessenden show up because he's gonna rip this job a new one.
Yeah.
like he's the dude. You're like,
He's ready to
fuck,
fuck
thank
it
God
in
that
the
guy's
ass.
here. Yeah,
Let's
he's
go.
done this 100 times. But unfortunately, he gets it. He gets lobotomized. I guess you don't necessarily know if he dies.
Yeah, you assume that he gets lobotomized. Though,
Yeah.
So
By Gordo.
I mean, you get a,
Did
get
Gordo
one-
have extra sunglasses for all of the lobotomizing?
Oh my god, that'd be
Or was
really
he
funny
sharing
end
one
scene.
pair between
Well,
everybody?
Oh my
I think
God.
that's what it came down to. I think Hank was the only dude who had a pair of sick wraparounds. So he had them on, but like no one else seemed to have.
Yeah.
Have.
Oh,
their
you
own.
didn't come with your lobotomy glasses?
Yeah, you didn't show up. Although, let's be
This
real.
is on you.
Larry Fessenden's character,
would've
motherfucker's
had
got
some-
some wraparounds.
That's true.
or he would have had aviators.
He might even be an aviator guy. He's
Yeah.
a little old school like that. But no, he actually has the fucking old 80s wraparounds that are back in fashion now that are
Oh,
like, yeah,
the big block.
fucking big,
The Vipers.
giant-
Yeah.
yeah, the Vipers.
Pit Vipers.
Yeah, he would rip those a new one.
I thought you were almost going to describe ones that would go over glasses, and I felt like you might have like been able to.
Oh yeah,
Both you guys, yeah.
those ones that
That's-
flip up and down.
Oh no,
Fuck
just
yeah.
like go
Those-
over
no,
your
Meg's
glasses.
talking about the ones you
Oh,
get when you get your eyes dilated at the doctor.
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
much,
yeah,
The ones
yeah.
that old people have.
yeah, cataract
Yeah.
glasses. Yeah. So remind me right at the end. So Gordo wiles out. We know this. He kills everybody. Then there is that scene of him. I'm remembering like the silhouette of him in the plasticed up room.
The Dexter room.
Yeah, the Dexter room. And then what's the last? I'm blanking on what the last kind of.
The last piece of business is just flashing back to like him killing his wife.
Yeah. They show that. They
Yeah.
show they kind of spoon feed you a little bit there, I guess. But whatever.
Yeah.
Did they show the room with Gordo's family photos after?
They've shown the flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think we
Is that
knew
at
they-
the
I
very,
don't-
very end?
No, we didn't know that they like we saw
When
the
he's
room.
like, I want to go home and all
So,
that.
yeah.
but this is also why we had that. We thought it could still be Phil.
Right.
Because we went into the room and we thought, okay, maybe Phil's obsessed with the family
Yeah.
and Gordo's discovering it. But no, this is Gordo's room and he's discovering it and Phil's seeing him.
This is
discover the
Gordo's
room.
angry room.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is Gordo's angry room.
And then
So
he
then
kills Phil
every-
at that moment.
Yes.
Mhm.
But
And
then you
then we
see
go-
Phil
Yeah, so
outside.
the family is killed later, and then we go through the montage of like, and I can't remember if like we go through the montage of seeing all the dead bodies, after. I think we do after we see the flashback where we realize he
Mhm.
kills the family, and that's why I think it's really important.
I do think there's maybe a weird pacing issue with the last 10 minutes of this movie because it's very like coasting, and then all of a sudden it's like everything happens
yeah.
in a very
It's
so
a
much
sprint
happens
to the finish
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I think that, and that's how I felt more about it. Like, and that's what like I liked when you got to know the characters over time. But I felt like again, I like your idea of like cut the characters. That could have helped that, but like it was the last literally 23 minutes,
Yeah.
20 minutes, and that's when shit happened.
Yeah,
it was always everybody had different turns to buy lunch, but I didn't see anybody actually eating food the whole movie.
But they were
Did
all
show
taking
it?
breaks. They were all taking breaks.
It was always like right after they'd eaten, and they're all just sitting around.
Well, no. Who showed up with the food? He's like, yeah, no, here's your food.
Jeff ate
And-
the most. He had a Doreo, and then he also had that shit in his mouth when he was doing the fucking lobotomy patient, and he was like
Oh yeah.
spitting
Oh,
food
yeah.
out on his
Oreos?
chin.
Do you think a normal Oreo pack fits in like a normal door now? Can we actually like?
Yeah.
I mean,
It all
I don't
goes
really
in.
Can we?
eat
Yeah,
cookies
I mean,
like that,
Oreos in a cardboard
to the
box
rest of your
seems
life.
wild. But can we talk about the 1 second of weird body horror when we see Gordo's burned leg
Oh, and he pours
Yeah,
the,
he's
he
like,
pours the disinfectant.
and he's just
Yeah.
like drooling on himself?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fucking.
It would have been
wild.
cool if we leaned more into that sort of stuff
Sure.
a bit,
Yeah.
a bit more of that, like
boiling
see like his like
skin.
personal trauma that he's going through.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
explain
physical
that enough.
trauma could for sure be and then
Yeah.
translate into like.
Now, do
mental
you
trauma.
think so? The story was when he explained it to Phil was that he hit his wife because she spilled hot
But she
water
didn't.
on him.
I think he just ran into it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Did it happen during a struggle, or did he do that to himself as like a guilt thing? Because he obviously felt
Like
super
a Catholic
guilty.
guilt.
Well,
That's
no.
what I'm saying. Is it like some
Boys,
self-flagellation?
No. I think because you hear in Mary's tapes how her other identity, one of her other identities, and it's Simon that gets activated, is that Peter comes up behind her and scares her,
Right.
and she falls on a porcellin doll and it like stabs her.
Yeah, so it's
So
all,
that
yeah.
activates her, and that's what causes
Right.
her to kill Peter. So I think,
Which is why I think it's
clever
like that.
observation. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which when the wife spills boiling water on
Him,
he
that's what
loses
caused
It was
his,
an accident. Yeah, it was an accident because he said that he was coming up behind her to
Mm-hmm.
give her a kiss.
Yeah, because he had flowers.
Okay,
and it was
moral
a
of the
thing.
story: do
He had
not
flowers
kiss
and
your
Oreos.
partners from behind.
Don't
Give
sneak
them-
up on Gordo.
fucking wear a
Classic.
bell. I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Don't get accidentally injured by people you love, or else you will kill them.
Yeah,
Simon will come and fucking get you. Simon says fuck shit up.
I like how like the Oreo logo's always covered just enough that if they probably wasn't
Product
like
placement
yeah,
was good.
but you know I don't think Nabisco had an official hand in this.
No.
no.
So the director just really liked Oreos.
Yeah, they just
well, they were like, what would a guy like that be eating out of his door?
But also, I
Slim
don't.
Jam,
that doesn't
Oreo,
make sense.
something you get at the gas
yeah,
station.
Like, I didn't see him as an Oreo guy.
Well, it's a gas station.
Yeah, it's gas station snacks.
Oh wait, do we have snacks?
totally
Oh,
forgot.
late game snacks, boys and
Oh
girls.
my gosh. Yep, they're good.
All right. All right, we'll finish that. We'll have first ever end of episode snacks. So yeah, I think the coolest part that I remember did throw me for a loop a little bit the first time we watched it is Phil having that conversation with Gordo, and now everything's out on the table. But then you realize that was Gordo imagining Phil, just as he imagined his wife after he killed her, because Phil has already been dispatched.
I think that's why the film has to be a sprint to the end, though.
Wait,
Yeah.
Because
wait.
once everything gets revealed, you know, you're on a train track. You can't keep misdirecting people.
Can we
Yeah.
talk rewind when Phil calls his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah,
Do we think that he couldn't have been possibly on the phone with somebody because
Right.
Nate or Nick or Neil, whatever the fuck his name was,
Hank.
some 4-letter fuck. He never went home, right? So did he fake that phone call?
No, I think he could have gone home though because he's wearing like normal clothes, right?
did go
Like,
home.
He did go home because
He went
came
home
back.
once,
He went
and then
home
he
and-
came back and got all
He
the rest
came-
of the shit.
yeah, he
and
came back
that's when he
late.
got fucked.
Oh, so you think he went home, and then before he went back to the
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it has to.
He
Because
came
he always
back.
talked about his exit plan.
Yeah.
so his
like,
ex. So you think there's still a chance he went to his ex-girlfriend's, be like screw you, I'm leaving, then went to the asylum and never left. I suppose that's possible.
I do think that could have been factual, but I think it was just like when Phil was on the phone with Amy or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where I was just like, okay, cool. Like, we're starting to get hints that, like, I think this is factual, but we're hinting so much that maybe he is showing his. Everyone had their own fucking problems. That's because, also what this movie had.
That's the thing too. Is
he could have called her or maybe not.
Well, it's because Phil didn't like the fact that Hank was there anyways, so he could have easily just.
Gordo questioned that he saw that. And so that's where I'm like,
he could have also lied a little bit just because he wanted to be like, yeah, look, told you so about Hank.
Because he wanted that other dude on the job for whatever.
And then and then obviously Gordo's conversations, or not conversations, but calls to his wife
those were fake because one of the last shots is him on the phone.
Right.
And you can see like the back of the phone is ripped off and broken, and you can just see like
through the phone.
Yeah. Like there's nothing on there.
Yeah. So that also tells us maybe the phone was even working. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
wow.
That's it.
Session 9.
Session 9, you sons of bitches. This movie for me held up way better as a one-time watch. And then the second time I watched it, and then I think this was the third time I have subsequently. Not that I don't like it. I think it's a really perfectly watchable movie. I like it actually quite a bit, but it was better upon first watch.
Once you know the tricks and everything, and I'll even admit though, like since it's been so long, there was still a part of me that was convinced for a minute. I was like, wait, is David Caruso actually the killer?
Yeah.
There was a part of me for that, just because it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yep.
So, like, I don't know, space out your watchings by 15 years and you should be fine.
This is a once every 15 years movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pleasant one. Now, we have just a complete 180 here. Meg brought some snacks that we forgot to at the top of the show.
Yeah, accidental snacks that I forgot that I brought, and then also forgot that I brought.
What are they?
So these are some peanuts and cashews that were coated in peppers that were pickled and then dried, as well as there's lemongrass and some other Thai spices and stuff like that. They're fucking layers of deliciousness from the dead fish, #deadfish folks. I worked with this weekend, and they're so good. And
is there coconut strips in there?
Coconut strips? No.
Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know if there is actually. I mean, there are some things, so maybe those are it.
Little peppies.
Yeah, please eat a pepper. I want to see you eat a pepper.
Please eat a pepper. I want to see you in pain.
I want to see you in pain. So they get us some spice. Oh my god, yes! I'm watching Brian eat a pepper right now. Tell me how it is too.
It's delicious.
Yeah. What can you describe the flavors for the pepper itself? Because I'm curious about the pickled pepper side of things, and then the drying of it and how that translates.
It's not particularly spicy.
No, they're not. Unless you eat a pepper.
Well, I mean the pepper. I just ate a pepper.
Oh, you did eat a pepper?
Not as spicy as I expected it. It's got a little bit of heat, but pickled versions of anything are typically a lot less spicy.
It's about as hot as like the dried peppers you get in a good General Tso.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think like the flavor
Really
layers
good.
are really fucking good on them. So shout out
It's
to those
delicious.
guys.
It's
I
great.
appreciate the skin on peanuts too. I love the skin. It's a
Yeah.
little kind of bitterness and toastiness you get in the skin of peanut.
Thanks for sharing, Meg.
You're welcome.
All right. Anything else on session 9? Anything else we need to discuss in this here episode?
Nope.
I think we're getting ready to wrap this sumbitch up. Brian, thank you for joining us. This
You
was
wanna
an
plug
absolute
anything?
pleasure.
Do you want to plug
Yeah.
anything?
Junior in the house.
Junior!
You're up in this motherfucker.
I call him B2.
Yeah, what do you got? Is there a social media situation? Is there
Sure.
a
I mean,
band
I think the thing
situation?
that might be most applicable to anybody listening to this is if you like podcasts and you get tired of listening to this one, you can listen to mine.
Most do.
It's called Start the Beat. Talk more about music, less about movies. Equal amount of piss.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and I
Bigger guns.
also play in some bands and stuff like that. But yeah, you could just
Plays in
find
all
me
the
on
bands. He plays
you
in
could-
so many different bands.
you could find me on the internet, just briansikeshowe.com. That's
This
a
is-
real thing.
This is part of the PPU now. Piss Podcast Universe.
PPU.
PPU.
Yeah, no, I'm there's something out there for everyone. But for the most part, just thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It was fun.
fun.
It's fun to chat about a movie that I hadn't seen in a very long time, but I remember liking when I was my Blockbuster days. And there was a very temporary time in my life where I thought I was going to make movies. Yeah, I did
Was
make a
this
horror
your
movie in high
inspiration?
school. I actually did make a horror movie in high school.
Can we get a title?
It's called The Night No One Will Survive, the movie.
Ooh, I actually do. That's a good title.
That's a good title.
Yeah.
Does it exist? Can someone
Oh, it
see
does
it?
exist, yeah. Yeah.
Where would somebody find a movie like this?
I mean, at my house.
I know if it was like
No,
floating around
no, it
on the
wasn't-
I
internet.
thought
mean,
we'd
it-
get like a secret.
It wasn't very. I mean, it wasn't great. But it was fun, and I really liked. I was super duper into movies at the time, and I think one of the things I liked the most about this movie was it felt like a movie anybody can make
Yeah.
because of how simple
Those
it
are the
was.
ones I love too. The ones that inspire you to think like I could do something like this.
Yeah.
You know. So sweet. Yeah, check Brian's podcast out. His variety of musical endeavors as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure we
and
can link it in the
Oh, yeah.
description and all that.
we certainly will. And yeah, got to come back and talk to us again sometime.
Anytime.
Next time you'll choose the movie.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I like that idea.
The
It'll be
gears
his
are already
movie, though.
turning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, that being said, for the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
Who are you?
Junior, baby.
Nice.